Hi, Sierra Leoneans. Listen to U.S. Ambassador to Sierra Leone and Acting Coordinator for United Nations and UNFPA, Mrs. Nadia, says about the fight against Kush. Share the video, like, comment. I am the host, Muse Online TV, and see you in the next video.
I also want to just say Dr. Ibrahim Kamara there with the represent WHO, one for tell and thank you. And it starts with the American ambassador. This conversation, not to we no more get on. This conversation, we have to have this conversation together. By your presence here and your commitment to this issue, all of you, I think you have shown that you want to work with us to solve this problem. I didn't want to get you up here, so I'm coming down to you and I'm putting you all on the spot very briefly. You've had a lot of things here. What do you have to say to us on this fight? And how can we work together on this?
Well, let me start where Minister Dembe ended. I think facts are critical here. I think the reason that we aren't making as much progress as we should have over the last 6 years that we've had Kush in this country is that we don't fully understand what we're dealing with. We don't understand the composition of the drug. We don't understand how it's manufactured. We don't understand all of the components. We don't understand where it's being imported from. And until we can answer some of these very basic questions, it's hard to devise an integrated strategy to work against Kush. So I start with the idea that we need more information. Secondly, education is key. I heard the passion behind the young people who are saying, we're losing our generation. That's a real issue. What we do know is Kush is deadly. Kush is dangerous. We all need to be doing more to educate people about that basic fact. Third, I've heard a lot of people advance, let's do this, let's do that, let's focus on this one area. There are no silver bullets in a war against drugs. We've been at it since the 1970s in the United States. We've had our victories against opioids and fentanyl. We've had our losses against crack cocaine. These are issues that require a long-term integrated strategy. And that's why from the development partners, we're not looking for a simple solution here. We're looking for a long-term integrated strategy that helps, yes, to address the mental issues that are afflicting Sierra Leone's youth, the sense of hopelessness, the sense of despair. We're looking to increase the capacity of law enforcement to deal with those complicated investigations. We're looking to help the Ministry of Health answer those very basic questions about what's in this drug, where is it coming from. So I think we need to look at this as a long-term fight, not something that's going to go away in the next year or 2 years or even in the tenure of this government, but we need to be committed to that long struggle.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Brian Hunt from the US. I want to come to Nadia. Nadia, you are the acting resident coordinator of the United Nations in Sierra Leone. You're also the representative for UNFPA. So I want to come to you. I know UNFPA, of course, cares about young people. You're a partner of us as well on this event. What have you had today? And what is the commitment of the United Nations family to this conversation?
Thank you. And let me begin by congratulating the Ministry of Information and Civic Education on convening this very, very important dialogue. It is absolutely critical that we have dialogues like this one. We know that the drug epidemic is a complex issue and it's a devastating issue, devastating to individuals, to families, and to communities. It's robbing young people of their health, of their well-being, of their lives. It's robbing societies of the potential and contributions of these young people. It is generating violence, poverty, and inequality, and it is threatening the nation's development. So this is an incredibly serious issue, and I am so pleased that this conversation is happening and that there are many, many people who are also joining online to give their perspectives on what needs to happen to create change. I'd like to focus on 3 issues that really pick up on much of what has been discussed so far. Um, Firstly, it's critical to have a comprehensive response. That involves all of government and all of society, because this is a complex issue. And it needs to be a response that addresses the root causes. It needs to be a response that supports prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and it needs to be a response that upholds law enforcement. Empowering young people and young people's leadership in this fight is critical. It is young people that have to lead the way, and we need to support them with information, with education, with awareness raising to ensure that they have the tools to make healthy choices and that they are able to resist the peer pressure that is coming to use drugs. And we saw the issue of peer pressure being raised so often in the online chat. Secondly, I join colleagues who are appealing for strong community mobilization. We need community mobilization to ensure that we're raising awareness and that we're establishing supportive peer networks to address prevention and to address rehabilitation. And the third point I'd like to echo again, data is critical. We need data and research to really help us to understand better the drivers, the trends, the impacts, and that is critical to informing our policies and programs. So I'll just conclude by saying, on behalf of the United Nations country team, we are committed to supporting the nation in this response. Please do count on us. We are strongly advocating for and welcome the attention that the government is giving to this as a priority, cross-cutting issue. But we need to ensure that we are consistently working with a compassionate response, a human rights-based response that puts people at the center. And we are really encouraged that this is the approach that's being taken. So we strongly believe that working together, we are hopeful that we can bring an end to this epidemic and this crisis.
Thank you so much, Nadia. On behalf of the United Nations family, thank you to, we have the EU ambassador here, we have WHO here, we have IOM.